Hey guys, Chaotic Camera here, and I'm back with a Hell Let Loose update video, as today we have gotten update 16 that is now out for all platforms that brings the long-awaited Elsenborn Ridge map. So the main thing with this update is that we are getting a new snow map taking place in Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge in the northern sector compared to Foy, which was more in the southern sectors. Now, some other things we'll be getting is also the Freelook feature, a Vivox upgrade, which talks about VoIP and just the communication side of Hell Let Loose, as well as some other little features that I'll go over in this video. But we're going to start talking about the map itself, because that is the main thing to talk about with this update. Now, to start talking about this map in particular, I want to go over one big thing that sets it apart from other maps, is that it is the first map to have dynamic weather changes. Now, what does this mean? This means that the weather will change during the course of the battle. And as the changelog or dev brief describes, it could be anywhere from light snow, medium snow, heavy snow, to blizzard snow, meaning visibility is going to change during the course of a battle, which that could be big for a team that's struggling and maybe has an airhead available that they can use to get behind the lines quickly to at least put the enemy team essentially on the back foot. It's one of those things that now teams have to be ready for, and it makes the strategy of the battle change. Obviously more if you're playing on warfare mode, but for offensive, obviously you're still going to be doing one or the other assignments and attacking or defending. But for warfare, this makes it very interesting, because now the tide of battle can change within 5 minutes because of the weather. So that is a big thing that I think will be cool, and I think the competitive side of things, such as the competitive leagues, will probably look to see if this map is really competition ready. I think it is, from someone who plays comp matches, because now you actually have to plan a better strategy. But that's just me. Now, to overall describe the map as a whole, to actually shows terrain features, as I already mentioned, it's a snow map. It's got a lot of hills and a decent number of trees, fortifications, buildings, stuff like that. It's not like Foy, if people were afraid that was going to be another just remake of Foy. No, it's got some rugged terrain, it's got some close range fight areas, it's got some long range fight areas, some areas with good sight lines, areas that are more condensed. There's something for everyone here, in my opinion. And as I look through the land here, it is kind of rolling hills, almost like more tan, but with not really any shrubbery or just trees, maybe building some walls. And it does have that Foy feeling, but not to the degree of there's just open fields everywhere and it's a tanker's wet dream. So that's that. See, as you see here, I've got a decent sight line down the road, but I am surrounded by a bunch of trees. So there's that. And to finish up talking about the map in general, there will be all 4 game modes. So Warfare, Offensive, Skirmish mode will all be incorporated into this map, or the map will be played on these game modes. Now, to move on to the next feature that I think is really cool and really big was the Freelook feature. So this feature allows you to continue running forward or whatever direction you are and look to side, meaning that if you're trying to cross an area and you're trying to keep an eye on maybe a tank or enemy infantry, this is big to keep an eye on it and at least check your areas and have better situational awareness. So now to kind of read off here and tell you how it works. So you have a 130-degree field of view from right to left, and overall, to make it work, you will hit the Alt key for PC, and for console players, you'll hit right bumper and actually hold it down for console layout A, and then you just look around with the thumbstick. And for those of you who hit bumper to maybe cycle through your items, that is now moved to the up and down parts of the D-pad. That way you could still cycle through your items as you need to. So that's mostly the map and the Freelook feature. I'm going to continue on with the update with other things that are nice to know, starting with the server queue times. So if you were queuing into a server, you really couldn't go anywhere else. So what they've done is you can queue into a server, and say if you've got a couple people ahead of you in the queue, you can go off and go to like the barracks and maybe get your loadout situated. You don't have to just sit on the same screen. You can go elsewhere while you wait to hop into the server. So that's a small feature. We'll see how it goes with that. As well as they've also changed the onboarding, or essentially the loading screen or the main menu. So instead of having to go into the practice range or like the little room, as I understand it, then you can go just straight into the practice range or the field manual, either or, instead of having to go there and then cycle through an extra menu just for simplicity aspects. Another cool feature that they add to the game is the changing of the UI or the deployment screen so that it incorporates a little bit more in-depth details about the map and information that you need to know. So at the top, you actually have the sectors and if they're being taken or not. And on the side, which I think is a really cool part, is that every spawn area now has a timer on the far right, meaning that you can now check in real time what these spawn timers are for every single spawn without having to cycle through each one to see what the spawn timer is. That way you can get on the battlefield faster and waste less time looking for a proper spawn. So continuing on with the update and just touching on some of the minor aspects of the update, the Vivox upgrade as outlined in the dev brief, talking about how along with the Freelook and the UI changes, they're trying to overhaul the VoLP system or the communication system, if I said that right, to try and overhaul it and fix some of the issues. But as we all know, every time they try to fix something about it, something else always breaks. So we'll see how this goes in actuality, but there's that. In terms of the paid DLC, there is the Wacht Eimerein units. Essentially, it looks like some uniforms for the Americans and Germans for this map. Hopefully not map-specific like the last DLC, but I have not checked that yet. And of course, just always some little minor bug fixes with some of the other maps. There are some other uniforms that are coming to the game that should be free, as I understand it, for the Germans, Soviet Union, and Americans as winter uniforms. So there is that as well. And besides some other small, little, tiny bug fixes, that pretty much sums up the update. And with this update, everything that was promised on the 2024 roadmap, regardless if it was a little underwhelming at times, has been given to us. Including the practice range, which was underwhelming at first when they brought the Germans, but when I looked back in there, I don't know when they added it, but they actually add the British and the Russians to the training range, which I think is really cool, so check that out if you want to. But other than that, that is the update. I hope you got something out of this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.